Dr. Jagdishkumar Rathod, sir, Professor, Department of Electronics, Birla Visvakarma Mahavidyalaya, and Dr. Tejash Pujara, Professor, Tolani Motwane Institute of Management Studies, Adipur. We welcome all our panelists onto the stage. We shall now hand it over to Nitesh Kotecha, sir. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your kind attention. I'd like to introduce our topic for the day and the panel discussion. The topic is challenging landscape of education in the VUCA world. Let me lay out the format so that all of you have a timeline about how this panel discussion will go on. I'll introduce the topic, and then I will introduce each panelist one by one. Each panelist will have about 15 minutes to present their views on our topic. And then I will be asking certain questions to each of the panelists, and then it will be open to the floor. So we should have a very efficient panel discussion. And once again, I request all of you to junk your mobiles, and drop it. Please drop it. Nothing should be more important for the next 45 minutes. Just put it away. Don't look at it. It's all right. It won't go anywhere. Thank you. All right. Most of you will remember the year 1995. And this was the year in which Bill Gates, sent an email to all the employees of Microsoft, where he informed them in detail about what the internet is going to do to the world. You see? And all the guarded walls of the library were now transferred to the tips of anybody who had a computer and an internet connection. 2022, you see, it did the same thing in many ways. At least as far as artificial intelligence goes. The walls of technology companies were now broken, and today AI, once again, is with anybody who has a computer or a mobile and an internet connection. The performance of ChatGPT, I hope all of you have heard of it by now, and Stable Diffusion, they make it very clear that, VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity are going to become part of our lives. But it will also be as exciting as your iPhone. Technology is becoming increasingly accessible to masses, and therefore, large companies like Google and Microsoft, together with all the small companies also, are now going to capitalize this. It may not be easy and maybe a little bit premature to gauge, the financial impact and the financial gains of all the advent of this technology. But certain things are very clear, my friend. It's very clear. Technology, and especially AI, is going to fundamentally change how we consume information. And it is bound to create a VUCA world. Just as the internet made it possible for anybody to publish online, the current technology has made it has made it easier for anybody to become a poet, a writer, an artist, or an author. There is fear, that this will soon replace artists and authors, but I think it is misguided. In substance, please remember my words, technology will make all those creative people, and anybody who wants to be creative, it will give them access to resources and will enhance their talents like never before. Having said this, knowledge workers, okay? Knowledge workers, people like us. And what do I mean? All people whose main capital is knowledge and who have to think for a living. So let me give some examples. Programmers, doctors, pharmacists, architects, engineers, scientists, design thinkers, accountants, lawyers, editors, and most importantly, people into academics. Our lives will be impacted in fundamental ways. You know, these knowledge workers or people who are into knowledge have been shielded from the impact of computerization and globalization, and it is these professions that run the risk of being obsolete. Go to the internet, find out there are companies, most of you may know them, Salesforce, ServiceNow, UiPath. You know, they work on improving efficiencies of companies, and they are going to find themselves in trouble because they are going to lose their business. And this, you know, brings me to my discussion with my very good friend Bhavik Bhai Dhodakia, CA Bhavik Dhodakia, and where we concluded that ultimately and in the end, the bottom line is hard skills and your domain knowledge. How much domain expertise do you have? You see, generalists don't work now. VUCA was initially defined as, you know, way back in 1987 as volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Within 2 years of VUCA being launched in 1989 and 1990, the world saw a huge turmoil and all the walls broke down, right? You can go back to history and check that. Now, volatility is being replaced with a need for vision. Uncertainty is being replaced with the need for understanding. Complexity is being replaced with the need for courage, and ambiguity will now have to be replaced with your ability to adapt. And that becomes VUCA in the current world. So in the end, whatever the outcome, please do remember 2023 is going to be a very disruptive year for most. Having said this, we have asked our panelists to address this issue, right? And they have all been given a particular aspect of the VUCA world to speak about. So I will soon be inviting Dr. Rajesh Khajuria, you know, to share his views, but let me introduce him. Let the audience know you are sitting in the presence of an extremely august people, and let me just give you a brief about Dr. Rajesh Khajuria. He is a PhD, MBS, CMC, and FIMC. He is a commissioner and accreditation governing body member of the Accreditation Council of Business Schools and Programs. All right, he is also a professor of the FTP University at Vietnam. He was there between 2020 to 2025, and vice president of Rishabh Software, a global IT company, facilitating industry academia partnerships for IT and designing, engineering, training, recruiting, and placing engineers. Dr. Khajuria is a proud recipient of the 2015 ACBSP USA Teaching Excellence Award at Philadelphia, a speaker in over 200 conferences worldwide, and recipient of over 100 awards and recognitions from the academia and the industry. Dr. Khajuria also serves as a distinguished visiting professor at Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania, USA. He is the co-chair member Diploma Board of ISTD, New Delhi, 2020 to 2022, and academic council member of JVIMS, Oshwal Education Trust, Jamnagar. Dr. Khajuria believes in hard work, independent assessment, unbiased opinions, faith in family and people, and above all, kindness to all. His not-for-profit trust is called Brahmand Education and Research Foundation. It supports poor school children as well as quality improvement initiatives in higher education and accreditation in a collaborative manner. Having said that, I request Dr. Khajuria to please address the audience. Thank you. Thank you.
small presentation.
I have a small presentation. Before that, I would like to welcome each one of you, and I would like to thank Dr. Ajay Shah, my good friend, and Dr. Snehal Ben, and all the trustees, and my very good, very old acquaintance, senior friend, you can say, Dr. Bipin Bhai T. Vadhar. And we worked as management consultant and members of Institute of Management Consultants of India, IMCI, before maybe 30, 35 years. So I'm so honored to be invited here. I was witnessing the kind of celebration that was going on since morning, and I realized the hospitality when me and my wife Birla landed here at 2:30 early morning from BAPS Nagar, Ahmedabad yesterday, where I was a speaker. And the one who received us at the reception was so kind and welcoming. Jamnagar is not just the nicest city of the country and formerly known as Paris of Gujarat, but also because my wife Birla was born in Jamnagar. That makes me more lucky. I'm starting with a thread which was woven yesterday in the celebration of centenary of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who had blessed me when I was doing my BBA in Mahavidyalaya in BJVM, and I met some good friends here from BVM, and one of my street friend in Rajkot, when I was 15 and maybe he was 7 or 8, Dr. Mahesh. I never knew his name because we had other names as children, you know. I will not say that name, but privately I will share anybody who asks. So I am so overwhelmed. I forgot all the journey. That was a long journey yesterday morning to Ahmedabad, night to Jamnagar. I forgot my pains in my leg, which has a ligament fracture. I forgot everything when I came here, and I'm so grateful to all of you. It so happened yesterday that when I was speaking and I finished speaking at BAPS with dignitaries, who's who in the country, I realized the power of spirituality, not just religion. By religion, I was born in a Jain family. And me and my wife came to a place called Jamkhambaliya, where my mother said, "Tamari cheda chedi chodva mate ahiya javanu che." That's my connection with Jamnagar. But yesterday I realized it wasn't education. It was the faith that someone like Pramukh Swami created in millions of hearts by touching thousands of lives in person. He was just 10th standard, but he created greatest educationists in the country, and many of the saints I met yesterday, they were like masters or MBA from Harvard or from Texas University or from IIM, and the kind of sadhus, saints he created, where the world-class saints you will find them. And in one life, he inspired to build 1,100 temples, you know, and several hundred centers. And I remember what I'm going to say now, that not just to Pramukh Swami and his disciples, but to the Oshwal Education Trust. For them, Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, and a scientist. He said in those days that wherever your talents meet the needs of the society, there lies your purpose. That's what Oshwal Education Society is doing, identifying talents of people who are sitting here, identifying talents of those who donated, and I read more than 1,000 names in this building and the complex who donated this. We are so grateful to those donors who have made it possible in this beautiful venue for us to get together and see the celebration of talent, the donors, the inspirers. With this, I switch over to my short presentation and the 15 minutes I was given, now 12 left. Do I have a pointer? If it is possible, it's all right. Otherwise, also it's all right. This is the topic. The topic sounds little complex to maybe some of you, not to the teachers. But what I see as the meaning of VUCA is no longer volatility. Now is the time that we wish that we work together. Now is the time for winning. Now is the time for understanding. Now is the time for creativity. Creativity in education, in giving education, in receiving education, in building constructions, in industries, in business, in international business, everywhere, in e-business, creativity. And now is the time of alliances coming together. And how alliances work. I will give one example. I work as Professor Emeritus with a university called FPT University in Vietnam, which is, FPT group is like Tata Group in India. So in 15 years, I met them before 5 years when I was helping them to get global accreditation from ACBSP, United States. And I had asked them, what is your vision to the leaders there? And they said, we have schools to college to university that we have set up. We have about 50,000 students, children studying. Our vision is to double in next 5 years, 100,000, that is 1 lakh by 2022. September, me and my wife were there, and I asked them, what is the current strength? They said, we have crossed 100,000 students, 1 lakh, but the new admissions, we are expecting to be 140,000 students. That's the kind of vision and growth the Asian countries are working. I'm not talking of United States, which I frequently visit for my board meetings. I'm not talking of United Kingdom, UK, where I was a resident of London once upon a time. I surrendered. I'm not talking of Canada or Europe or Germany, where we have traveled. I'm talking of Asian country, a small country like Vietnam, which can and which is working, which has already doubled the per capita income than the per capita in India, also for another reason that they have a smaller population. But the discipline that I see there, that everything starts at 7:30 in the morning, whether a retail shop or a university or a school, and everything works up to, all education works up to 4 o'clock, where everyone has some activity or the other to do in addition to education. So for example, Vietnam is karate, Vo Vietnam, they say. It's compulsory for all students to learn. Do we have in India yoga compulsory for all students to learn? We claim we have, yoga was invented by us. We haven't been able to make it compulsory to learn. There may be many such things that you as teachers can figure out. What should be, I met some of the brilliant minds here talking about Ekal Vidyalaya and all that. Brilliant minds, but you can think making things compulsory works. Also for the discipline, making it compulsory works. Everyone gets used to it. Initially, children don't like getting up early in the morning, but everyone in Vietnam gets up at 5 o'clock early in the morning, whether 8-year or 8-year. And they go to their work, job, whatever they want to do by 7:30, which means they start 6:37. And they go to bed 9 o'clock mostly. And that's how early to bed, early to rise they practice, almost the whole country, except a few. There are a lot of things you can think to do better, but I chose some of them like design thinking. Anything that needs to be better has to have a design in the thinking. We saw some of the best designs here in this campus since walking from the guest house to here. But there are many things which are possible with the design. That everything that you see in a college has to look like celebration. That's what I see everywhere else, including in Vietnam, that the campus looks like celebration. So sometimes they put up my 40 feet long poster, 40 feet, from 4th floor to 1st floor. And you are amazed to see how they think so differently. That impresses us. And likewise, many, many more things I can talk for lack of time later. But design, building design in thinking, it's like how Pramukh Swami built design in the minds of people to inspire them to do the best. So there were 6,000 toilets yesterday catering to 200,000, 2 lakh people who visit every day. On an average 30 visitors per toilet. They calculated. Likewise, everything. So by evening when we left 9 o'clock, the bathroom and the toilet was spick and span. At 9 o'clock where 2 lakh people visited. That's design in the thinking implemented with materials. And every material they used is going to be reusable. Dr. Gyanvatsal Swami, a good friend of mine, said, every material you see here will be reused by people who donated. Either they will take back or it will be somewhere else used in some or the other temple, including the temporary Akshardham they created of Delhi model or created there. It will be used, everything. The second is the IT training. I'm just referring a couple of global statistics. The World Bank conducted a study of some 146 countries to find out the future of jobs. The future of jobs, how the jobs will be in 2030. The future of jobs study says that by 2030, 50% of the jobs will be based on or related to artificial intelligence, various applications, in medicine, in IT, in consumers, in marketing, in finance, in banking, everywhere, in government. Artificial intelligence. 50% of the jobs will use some or the other sort of artificial intelligence. And 86% of the jobs will have some use of IT, information technology. So you can imagine that somebody who delivers a liter of milk to your day, to your home, even today you find them with Google Pay or Bhim app. What will happen in 2030? Their children will come to probably to deliver the same milk with a meter to test, with a payment collection system, with a complaint resolution system, everything in their hand, and many such things. The AI, artificial intelligence, the augmented reality, AR, or VR, the virtual reality, there is some difference between the three of them, amongst the three of them. Already a lot of experiments are going on currently. but the best thing or the easiest thing you can remember is that a wearable device where you can feel Himalayan cold when you are in a desert. The wearable devices. By 2030, the movies, the theaters will make it sure for you. And likewise, many, many things. And all that with alliance or collaborations will come up. If you run through, I don't need to speak now, but just run through the next slide. And that can be distributed later, so do not worry if you cannot do. Yeah? So if you feel the puzzle, there may be many things that you can work. Think of your target, think of your purpose, think of what do you want to launch, where do you want to do. Think of what's going to work, what will not work in advance. Think of why you choose, why students should choose you as an institution. By 2030, you can think and work on it. And how to find us. There are many students who can come to the city of Jamnagar to study. It's kind of a global city. It is a port city. It's an international business hub. It can be developed like anything. Next. Next, please. Yeah, I will all explain, but I can say that you are all in this world where you have the horizon of time, the horizon of quality, the horizon of technology, the horizon of catering to quantity of students. The large number of students we have, and they go out to Ahmedabad, I hear, they go out to UK or US, and in future they will go to Vietnam also, and Cambodia also to study, because they are creating better environment for higher education. How shall we retain our students to our roots is going to be one of the biggest challenges for which education has to change. And of course, the cost part of it. It's always a challenge. We say that cost is a problem. People are not ready to pay, but there are ways and means of raising. I think your trust has proven that, but there are more ways and means. And if people can pay for foreign education or education in Mumbai or Pune or Bangalore, why they cannot pay for this better quality education in Jamnagar? So that's the kind of thinking which is required. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. This is done. Therefore, when students are changing, the education must change. The world is changing. But more so, our students, our generations are changing. Then the education must change. And the last slide probably. Yeah. So we have to think back about our tradition. How much time we can save for education? I'm talking save. We spend a lot of time on non-educational activities. How can we save? How can we make them suitable for working? All degrees are not suitable for working in our country, except maybe medicine. Most of them are not. How can we embrace virtual education? How can we teach elders or adults? That's very rarely thought. But there is a lot of opportunity to re-skill and re-educate adults and older people. And everyone wants to learn, believe me. Even I want to learn, but I don't find courses for me. You get it? Everyone wants to learn. Maybe all people sitting here want to learn. Do we offer them the opportunity and the kind of their interest? And of course, the fail or free student is the one my always worry. There are many who don't study. What more they can do? Of course, afternoon we'll hear them on the vocational education, but there's a lot more possible in that implementation stage. It talks a lot about NEP, vocational education, but still we have, to me, we have progressed hardly 10% of what we should have done or we should be doing. Next, please. It must be, thank you, yeah. So this is the success planning. And for all-round achievement, we have to remember only these few things. Deploy technology, never be afraid of technology. Invest in technology. Improve the ambience wherever, whatever you are. It's the ambience which makes students stick to the place. How do they make in kindergarten? Interesting. That's what is required in higher education. The global accreditation, I sit on the board of this ACBSB in US. We have 1,100 member campuses in 60 plus nations. And I'm in a board which takes decision on their accreditation to give them or not to give or defer. So a lot more is possible by taking one of your, say, MBA through global education process. And lastly, improve revenue to expand is another area for the trustees we can discuss later. How to improve revenue? Because for expansion, you need money. Thank you very much. I finished. There must be thank you slide at night. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, audience, I'd like to introduce to you now Dr. Tejash Pujara. Dr. Pujara is serving as a professor at the Tolani Motwane Institute of Management Studies, Adipur. He has an experience of over 25 years. He has completed BE, gold medalist, MBA Marketing and PhD in Management. He was the former Dean and Faculty of Management Studies, CU Shah University at Motwane. The other academic responsibilities that Sir holds is member of TMIMS Governing Council, member of Board of Studies, GTU. He is the PhD supervisor also with the GTU. And over and above, please, Sir is seriously involved with social service for the benefit of society and nation at large. Sir, I request you to come and take stage. Thank you, sir.
આપ સૌને મારા પ્રણામ. આમ તો શિક્ષક તરીકે વિષયને વળગી રહેવાની ટેવ છે, પણ મંજૂરીથી 2 મિનિટ કંઈક અલગ બોલવાની ઈચ્છા થઈ આજે. જ્યારે જામનગરમાં આવતા હોય ત્યારે સ્વાભાવિક રીતે જામ દિગ્વિજયસિંહ યાદ આવે કે પોલેન્ડના નિરાશ્રિતોને આશરો આપ્યો અને એના માટે ભણતરની વ્યવસ્થા કરી, શિક્ષણની વ્યવસ્થા કરી. આજે એ જ વસ્તુ, એ જ પરંપરા આજના જે આપણો ઓશવાલ એજ્યુકેશન ટ્રસ્ટ છે એના ટ્રસ્ટીઓ આ પરંપરાને આગળ વધારી રહ્યા છે. પહેલાં મારે એવું કહેવું હતું કે અહીંયા બોલવાની તક મળી એના માટે હું મારી જાતને સૌભાગ્યશાળી સમજું છું, પણ કાર્યક્રમમાં આવ્યા પછી એ લાગ્યું કે જેમનું સન્માન થઈ રહ્યું છે એના સન્માનમાં સહભાગી થવાનું મારું સૌભાગ્ય છે. અને ભલે આ લોકો એવા ભગવા કપડાં પહેરતા નથી, આમ તો ટાઈ કોટ પહેરે છે, પણ સંત કરતાં એમની કોઈ કક્ષા ઉતરતી નથી એ પર. અને ઘણી વખત મને એવું લાગે છે કે સમાજ જે છે એનું ઋણ બરાબર ચૂકવતો નથી જે આ લોકો શિક્ષણની વ્યવસ્થા કરી રહ્યા છે. તો આપ સૌને ખૂબ ખૂબ અભિનંદન. આટલું બધું સરસ કામ કરી રહ્યું છે. કચ્છમાં તોલાની પણ આ જ કામ કરી રહ્યા છે, તો અદ્ભુત કામ છે. અને બીજું પણ એક અહીં આવા કાર્યક્રમમાં ગુજરાતીમાં બોલતા હોય અને હું પણ ગુજરાતીમાં બોલતો હોય એવો મારા માટે પણ આ પહેલો પ્રસંગ છે. એટલે એનો પણ આનંદ છે કે ભાઈ ગુજરાતીમાં પણ બોલાય આવા પ્રોગ્રામ માટે, અંગ્રેજીમાં જ બોલવું એવું જરૂરી નથી. એટલે આ પણ એક આનંદનો વિષય છે મારા માટે. અને એક છેલ્લી વાત, આપણે જોયું પાઘડીથી સન્માન કરવામાં આવ્યું. એટલે પાઘડી આમ જો તો વજનમાં તો આમ હલકી હોય, એટલે જે પહેરાવતો હોય ને એનું એને વજન ન લાગે, પણ જે પાઘડી પહેરે ને એની વજનની ખબર પડે. એટલે આ પાઘડી પહેરવી કોઈ સહેલી વાત નથી એમ. એટલે આ અદ્ભુત છે. મને થયું કે વિષયથી થોડો ભટકીને પણ આ વાત મારે દિલની હતી એટલે કહેવી જોઈએ. વિષય ઉપર તો આજે આવશું જ તે. સો લેટ્સ then talk about the topic that I am to speak on. Can we have my presentation? So I'll be basically speaking on the VUCA world, its implication for us. I assume that I am audible to the last batch. I mean, last batch કહેવાની આદત છે હા કોલેજમાં ભણાવતા હોય but last seat. So, and in this world, what kind of skill set that we need and what kind of challenges we are going to face and what probably is the solution. So let's begin this VUCA world. This is how we are going to go about. Next slide. So this is VUCA basically, right? So it's volatile. The rate of change of space is very high. It's uncertain. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's very difficult to predict where we are going to land tomorrow. Probably I feel that the days of long-term planning is dead now because if I don't know what's going to happen next month, there's no fun in planning for 5 years. Then it's complex world. Even a seemingly small event, you will find many factors at play, and those relationship of different factors, it's not very easy to identify. And of course, things are vague. It's not clear. So this is the world we live in. So basically, it says we should embrace for the instability. Forget those days where things are similar for years and years. It's not going to happen anymore. Permanence, I mean, there's a death of permanence we are going to see. Similarly, when we look at this uncertainty, it's very hard to predict. And as I was saying, too many factors at play and a lot of information available, but still the picture is hazy. There's a lot of ambiguity in spite of having information at our tips. So we still find that we don't have enough and complete information at our hand. So there are too many dimensions from where one can look at the same thing. So that's kind of world that we are living in. And when we are living in this kind of a world is like becoming a, this is I took from the journalist or the jo patrakar look at a breaking story. It's fast breaking story. So even before you complete your story, there some new input comes in. So the story is never complete. So this basically talks about the kind of pace of change that we are witnessing. And because things are not clear, unpredictable, it creates the confusion. And there's something called fear of unknown that creeps in our mind. So VUCA creates that fear of unknown. And the response from an individual, a family, society, even government, and the pace at which the changes are happening, the lag is increasing. See, cryptocurrency came, it grew, it stabilized, it started its declining, and we are yet to form a rules for cryptocurrency. OTT platform came, conquered the world. Most of us are hooked on the OTT, and government yet to form the rules. So the response, the way, the speed of our response, still the family members, as I'm also a parent of two young ones, we don't know how to deal with their addiction to social media. So our response and the pace of change, that lag is increasing, and that makes life difficult to adapt. And not only this, direction of change, many a times I can perceive or predict the direction of change. For example, long ago, Kunal, of course, was teaching here. I used to teach him once. So in MIS, I was talking about the adoption of a mobile wallet. At that time, there was no concept of online payment. So at that time even, we were aware that that's going to come. So direction was clear. But what kept, the problem was the speed at which it came to us. And that was, many a times, that makes us difficult to adjust. So mobile payment was not something which was not predicted earlier. But the speed it gathered, especially during the COVID time in India, I mean, there are many such examples. So I just limited point is the speed of change. That is something disturbing us. And it's futile to extrapolate past in the future. Let's understand, past is not the future. And the future cannot be predicted from the past. And the most of the model that we teach to our students, forecasting model, it basically assumes that past will repeat itself. That may have been true in stagnant world, but not anymore in the VUCA world. And we must also understand that knowledge that we have, the skill that we have is perishable. Something that I may be master of today and is valuable in the market, but tomorrow I may find it difficult to find the takers for my knowledge or skill. So that's the implication of VUCA work. And trends, I mean, howsoever strong, it's never going to work in a straight line. Because those sub-trends within the trends, which are uncertain and makes or breaks the business or lifestyles. Like I used to teach a mega trend that in India, the number of young ones or our average age is very less. The number of middle income group people are increasing. And this trend is today also there. But that mega trend, understanding this mega trend does not automatically becomes a recipe for success. Within that, those small trends which are part of mega trend, it's so uncertain that even after knowing this, that middle class is going to increase, we may not be in a position to actually satisfy their needs. And as I was talking, there are too many factors at play, and situations are very vague. Information are available in terabytes, but still, those who are making the decision, they know it. That every time they sit together to make a choices, they would find that the information at their hand is not enough. It may not be current, it may not be complete, it may be ambiguous. So life is not easy. So if we are living in this kind of a world, what kind of skill that we need? Next slide, please. So, to tackle that volatility, we need to become agile. We need to learn how to adapt quickly. Some of the things we have demonstrated during the COVID time. But because it was emergency, we could easily adapt it. Otherwise, it's not an easy job. We need to live with the uncertainty. Let's face it. Let's accept our limitation that I cannot predict the future with the accuracy. Not that I don't have a tool available. The simple point is that it is changing too fast, too quickly to make out some sense out of those trends. So that we need to accept as a human being our limitation. We need to think critically. That is the skill set that each one of us requires. Because too many things at play, not very easy. We need more of a synthesis ability rather than ability to analyze. And I hope you know, analyzing it means dividing the whole into parts and trying to understand those parts separately. No, that's not possible probably. That will not help us. And of course, we need to look at the same thing from a different dimensions. So that's why the multidisciplinary education makes sense here. You cannot, see, organization cannot be looked at only from the point of view of an economist. It needs to be looked at from a different dimensions. And that's why, having a multidisciplinary skill is very, very important. Next. Other skills I have listed, I believe that it is important. In our culture, we talk about 4 things. That is Sharir, Buddhi, Man, Atma. Sharir, Buddhi, Man, Atma. I have not included Buddhi here, that is IQ, everybody knows it. But I'm more concerned about the physical intelligence. That skill is lacking. and emotional intelligence. Spiritual intelligence, we are yet to arrive. But when I see on the TV screens that the person age of 30, 35, 40, heart attack aa jata hai, and they die by heart attack. I don't understand this. What my sense is, I am not a doctor, but what my sense is probably we don't understand our body well. And for that, we need to teach our students how to take care of their body. So physical intelligence and emotional intelligence, there are plenty of examples that we are not able to digest the failure, the rejection. Recent one is, somebody, the TV actress died by suicide, 20 years of age. It is not age to die, and that too by suicide. So probably that is where I think in management school also we don't teach. We teach how to become successful. What we need to teach also how to accept the failure and rejection. Those who are in marketing, they know it. Rejection, failure is a part of life, and it is every facet of life. So our young ones needs to learn this, and this is more important even than learning how to succeed. Next slide. This is UNESCO did this study. They said 4 pillars of education. They did it in 2001. 4 pillars of education for 21st century. They say treasure within, and it holds true even today. So you need to learn to learn. Learning to know means learning to learn. You learn, and Swami Vivekananda also said that education is not about the amount of information that you have. If that's the case, then the most smartest people on the earth would be the librarian. So it's not about the information, the facts that you learn, but you need to learn to learn. You learn to be, what I like the last one, if you see, the learning to be, and that's what Swami Vivekananda said, education is the manifestation of perfection already there in the man. So you have a perfection in the man, only thing is that you need to manifest. Now that's our job as a teacher, to help them to grow in its entirety. After COVID, the same UNESCO did one more study, and they have said that those pillars, that you don't need to do it individually. You need to work together. So you need to mobilize the resources together. You need to live together. We need to learn how to be with the people. So that's what it says. An important thing is the last line, that I should be ready to unlearn what I have learned. So learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now that's the skill that we want in our students to survive in this VUCA world. So what's the way around? So that's what actually, when I was reading this, preparing for this, then I found that the topic that we are discussing, the National Education Policy 2022, it talks about the same thing. So hopefully we will have this in near future, the implementation of this. Next slide. Then comes to the challenge. I'd like to spend a couple of minutes here. Most of us educators are here. Please, I take 2 minutes. But this is important because most of us are educated here, that our system, education system, is built for a stagnant world. The same syllabus, same pedagogy, same evolution pattern for years on and on, as if that world is at standstill. Now this education system cannot produce students who are fit for VUCA world. So classroom became an assembly line. A teacher, like a worker, comes to the class. Students are sitting there, a material. We process it. I teach my subject. I leave the class. My colleague will join in that class. It became an assembly line. And you cannot think of producing a people who are fit for VUCA world if your education system is not meant for it. So what could be the solution? We need to change it. We need to change it. Everything. It starts with the mindset, the teacher, the students, the syllabus, the delivery system, the evaluation system. Next. And that is what NEP also says. So I'll not read out this slide, but NEP is on the same line. And the last slide, because ye to ho gaya, but then there is a question, isn't it? When and how will it happen? Little that I understand about the NEP implementation, believe me, people are working very hard, right? Work is in progress, but because it is evolving story, there are so many changes that comes in. But as I said, little bit that I know about the implementation, few of my friends are involved in the implementation of NEP. It is really, progress is being made. We will soon see its result, at least some change in the education system. But will that change the people coming out of that education system tomorrow? No. It takes its own time. But the future is bright for the India. We will definitely will have a system in near future which will produce which will make the students and the people at large who is able to face the VUCA environment. And this is what, I don't want to read this because already Kotecha sir has talked about, but I would like to thank the Oshwal Education Trust, Dr. Snehal Kotak Palan Madam, Dr. Ajay Shah, Kunal Bua, the Anand Shah, Sneha, and one more, probably I missed her name. I mailed her this presentation, and what you see here on the screen is because of her. So thank you, and thank you to the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, audience, I would like now to introduce to you Dr. Jagdishkumar M. Rathod. He is serving as a professor in the electronics department and is the associate dean. He has an experience of more than 26 years in the field of teaching and research work. He has more than 200 papers published to his credit. He serves as a PhD guide to GTU, RKU, Charusat, CU Shah, and Parul universities. He has published many books, IPR and patents, 16 of them. He has a professional membership of ISTE, IEEE, IACSIT, BES, IAENG, and several other bodies. He is a proud professor of awards like Academic Excellence Award awarded by BVM Engineering College for the recognition of valuable contribution and performance in academic activities in the year 2011-12. He has received the Shiksha Bharati Award on 19 November 2020. It is an honor for achievement and contribution in nation building by Indian Achievers Forum and Achievers Forum. He has received the honor of excellence in research with 5 stars for Edge India Times Award for Excellence in Research. And notably, he was awarded with the prestigious award Tech Guru, the Best Teacher Award from GTU in 2021. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar. Am I audible? Am I audible to last but not least? So thank you very much. First of all, I pray to all the trustees and the professors, those who are sitting here. So this is my love to the families known as OET. I am coming from the Mahavidyalaya, which is the once upon time it was the Asia's largest technical hub, education hub. So I'm coming from the Charutar Vidya Mandir. The dream was put by the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and then Baikaka and Bhikhabhai has done this. I'm coming from the Gujarat's first engineering college, that is the Birla Visvakarma Mahavidyalaya. And we are also celebrating 75 years. And I congratulate you, you are celebrating 41st years of this OET. My role is like Ashwin. Ashwin is coming last in a cricket. If you see test or one day, Ashwin is coming last. My both the experts have already explained so many things, so I'm not going to explain those things that is the basic of VUCA and all. Let me stick to the topic that it is based on the challenges, the what happens here, what kind of solution is available, how the one can improve, how the organization and management can improve by the VUCA world. Can I have a PPTs or? Yeah, so this one is my brief informations which is already being shared. This is my institute because I am representing my institute also right now. So this one is my institute detail. Previous one, please. Yeah, this one is about Birla, Visvakarma and all. Next, please. Yes, what I said, it was started in 1948 and inaugurated by the Lord Mountbatten on that time. Next, please. Yes, this one is more information about my institute. Next. So obviously, as Dr. Tejash Pujara and Dr. Khajuria sir has explained, the things are, or it can be explained in this way also, that how much do you know about the situation? As you know, from negative to positive, the ambiguity, uncertainties, that is increasing, complexities and volatility is also increasing. Same way, how well can you predict outcome of your action? I think he has also mentioned that. Next, please. Yes, the moderator, sir, you also given this information to us. 1987 was started, but picked up by the US Military Academy in the early 1990s. That is a VUCA world. Next, please. This one is a very important because VUCA means you have to think differently. So I have mentioned the quotations given by the two tall words personality. One is Albert Einstein and second is Peter Drucker. First one is we cannot solve the problems at the same level of thinking that we were at when we created them. That is very important. Every situation is different and that need to be considered. Peter Drucker said that the greatest danger in turbulent times is not a turbulence, but acting with the yesterday's logic. I think we have proven. Please clap for you, all the teachers, because you have worked as a warrior, corona warrior. Because offline to online transformation was not easy, but you have established. We have one personality with us, Dr. Mahesh Jivani sir. He has established a very good studio. So many people have visited. This is for the online. So offline to online transformation was done by you. Next, please. Yes, I have to talk about the attitude and mindset. I think attitude is always important. How you behave in the classroom is important. How you behave with all the fellows like subordinates or students or your seniors outside the class. So flexibility, adaptability and agility are the name of the game of those who can thrive in a VUCA world. So individual within an organization need to be flexible. I again appreciate. I am associate dean administration, so I am looking some administration. And we are the first engineering college of Gujarat who got the NAC accreditation also. So I am also part and partial with my principal and my seniors. The point is, individual within an organization need to be flexible and adapt. I have seen all the faculties because I have communicated with since 3 to 4 days. They are excellent. Student level management is excellent. Faculty's behavior, faculty's presentation, faculty's openness, faculty's communications. This is excellent, sir. Sir, so this one is a congratulations to you. Because of you, everybody is good, everybody is happy. Next, please. Let us see some actionable tips for surviving in VUCA world. And meanwhile, bell may be ringing because I'll try to finish within 15 minutes. But I think I have to track the record of both the seniors. So first thing is, the time to prepare for change and uncertainty is now. There may be a solution like develop the resilience, reframe thinking, and hone learning agilities. When I say develop resilience, please next slide please. Hello. So resilience is how individuals respond, adapt, and overcome a situation like adversities, change, loss, and risk. I have done my PhD as a self-guide PhD candidates. That is the first time in engineering technology in Gujarat. No guide. So on that time, it was very difficult. I'm talking about 2006, when I started my PhD. So things are very important, that adversities, change, loss, and risk, everything is important in our life. We have to ready for this kind of situation. Next, please. Not surprisingly, given the VUCA world, we find ourselves in 1999% of the respondents agreed that being resilient was essential to their career success. And in the same survey, 56% agreed it was an important skill needed for rising to the top level in an organizations. We have observed our senior faculties, we have observed the hierarchical orders of our seniors, and sometimes we are learning, right? So as I said, leader creates a leader. So one can be a leader, and we observe them, and we see that how they face the situation, how they are adaptable, how they are open, how they are giving a guidance to all, subordinates and all. That is also important. Next, please. Reframe thinking. So Bill Jaws, a senior fellow at Harvard Business School, believes we should be reframing our thinking about VUCA and how we prepare for it. So they developed an alternative view which he coined VUCA 2.0. And there are 4 fundamental qualities are explained by him. Let us see that part. Next, please. That is the first is a vision. And vision, and then there is a mission also, right? So as you know, vision can be every organization has their own vision and missions, and we have to stick to that. Next, please. Understanding. So in VUCA world, an organization must understand its strength and capabilities to capitalize on the rapidly changing environment by playing to its strength. We are not only talking about strength and weakness, we are talking about the remaining part of the SWOT analysis, that is opportunity and threats also. Next, please. Courage. VUCA requires quick and often bold decisions. A leader needs to step up to the challenge. Next, please. Courage adaptabilities. Flexibility, adaptability, and agility are the name of the game for those who can thrive in a VUCA world. What is being given in a second slide. Next, please. Then hone learning agilities means learning agility is the ability to figure out what to do when you find yourself in a new situation and are unsure how to proceed. Next, please. Therefore, learning agility is essential to surviving in a VUCA world, and there are 5 activities can be do to improve these things. Ask your leader for a stretch assignment that expose you to a new department or a project that is different from your day-to-day at work. We are very much disagree with this, because when we change the environment, I think we are always find a difficulty to work in a uncomfort zone, right? But department, you have to work with the others also, like a stretch assignment. Next, please. Gain new perspectives and try new approaches by listening to peers, thought leaders, and others in your industry. These things are missing now. Nowadays, what happened? Whether we are following someone honestly or not, that is also a question. I think we should promote this. Seeking constructive feedback from your leaders, peers, and direct report is essential to highlighting the strength, weakness, and a new learning opportunities. That is the third point. Next point. Conduct the post-mortem meetings that we normally do. If we are fail in some assignments, we do this, right? But we have to consider in a positive manner. Continually test and apply what you have learned from your experience, feedback, and conversations. If you learn something from your experience, feedback analysis is doing, there is a meaning, otherwise it is difficult to sustain. Next, please. This one is the, again, it is actionable tips for surviving in a VUCA world, and that is regarding the embrace change. I think he has mentioned. Next, please. Leadership skills are very important, and that is the 5 leadership skills need to be developed by the educators that can find the hope, strength, and clarity. Next, please. Next, please. And that is the think people first. I think all the trustees and our seniors, those who are present here, we always taking care of the students and faculties. Develop the cognitive flexibility means develop the different solutions simultaneously and pull the plug and move on when an approach is not working. Focus on system thinking, embrace ambiguity, and provide clarity. These 5 points are very important. This is regarding the VUCA world. Next, please. Likewise, there is a focus on system thinking, embrace ambiguity. I think these things are already done. Next, please. VUCA audit is very important. I think we should do this. The solution is the VUCA audit. So first we need to create an assessment of our environment. There is a VUCA audit developed by the Baron and Wojin. These questions should be asked, discussed, and worked on by leaders and employees all across the organization regularly in various formats, such as a team discussion, focus groups, informal conversations, or periodic surveys. This is continuous process we should do. Next, please. To get a sense of anticipated volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, we can go with the what kind of change quickly about the organization, industry, or market, or that we can see. Next, please. How is our work interconnected with or dependent upon the other stakeholders? Are we comfortable with the team work, within the team? What are the networks we are engaged in? What are our roles and functions in these networks? Where and how does our organization or industry lack territories? Why? How could we change that? So changing is a permanent agent, as you know. Next. To get the sense of your sensing and monitoring behaviors, because behavior and mindsets are very important, and I have been given this topic, so let me inform about the behaviors. How might I stay in touch with the trends in my organization, industry, or function? How often am I surprised by decisions or events, and why? Do I question and reflect on our organization, strategy, premises, and purpose? What resources or relationship do I have or need to keep abreast of ongoing changes? How much time do I spend listening to others, inside and outside of my organization? This is very difficult, right? Next, please. To get a sense of changes and trends inside the organization, what do people talk about the most in meetings? Let us observe this thing. What are the most disputed topics in our organization? What are the most important trends within our organization or workforce? What are the most common topics in informal conversation among co-workers? What are the key focal areas of our strategy documents and policies? Do they make a sense to me? And can I identify myself with them? What do the key leaders, both formal and informal, talk about the most? So what we are discussing is also important, right? Next, please. So to create the organization that can thrive in a VUCA world, we need to start looking at it is an opportunity and develop the necessary mindset and skills to use it. Very often, whether as companies or a society, we are still in a mode of preparing ourselves for the world of yesterday instead of appreciating the opportunities for a blooming future offered by a VUCA environment. Next, please. This one is what Dr. Tejash has already explained. Next, please. These are some references which I followed. Last but not least is a thank you. Thank you. Only 1 minute. I am coming first time into Jamnagar, sir. My birthplace is Mumbai. My current place is Modasa. I am working in Mahavidyalaya, and I am coming first time. So because of this environment, I cannot stop myself. Let me sing 2 lines for you all trustees and the forefathers of this family. Thank you. 2 line. બધા ગાય સાંભળેલી છે. तेरे नाम हमने किया है. પછી આગળ जीवन अपना सारा सनम तेरे नाम हमने किया है जीवन अपना सारा सनम. All faculties, all students and all the trustees for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. I request the audience to please tickle their brains and keep some questions ready. In order to lead into the questions, I will be asking certain questions which I have prepared here to the faculties. Sir, Doctor, I would like to begin with you, sir. Sir, I have a question. Sir, online education has created a learning regression, right, in the world. Students who entered in the pandemic in grade 7 learned nothing about grade 5 and forgot everything. I learned nothing about grade 6 and forgot everything about grade 5. You see, and yet online education thrives. So it has been regressive and yet it thrives. So how does one understand this difference? And how do you, what should educational institutions do about this? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir,
No problem. I think in a very simple way, if we think that classroom education is meant for degrees, for diplomas, for experience, for cultural exchange, for interaction directly with students, and for making friends, then it works very well. And online education is for short courses, for degrees offered to working people who do not have time to attend colleges and universities. Then it works very well in United States. It's worked extremely well. And the online degrees there are priced at the same level as the classroom degrees, up to PhD. But that's for working people. So either short-term or working people go online. For younger students, go in classroom or go in open area like Rabindranath Tagore did, under the tree. Thank you.
right. Pujara Sahib, sir. સર, આપણે ક્રિપ્ટોકરન્સીનું જોયું. IV સ્ટેબિલાઇઝ થઈ આખું એક્સચેન્જ ઉડી ગયું. એક્સચેન્જ ચલાવતો તો બિચારો બેન્કરપ્ટ થઈ ગયો. અત્યારે તો ઘણી બધી તકલીફમાં છે. એન્ડ મેની પીપલ વર ઇનિશિયલી એન્શિયસ કે ક્રિપ્ટોકરન્સી વિશે જાણીએ. ટુડે મેની પીપલ આર થેન્કફુલ કે એ લોકોએ એમાં સમય ના બગાડ્યો લર્નિંગ અબાઉટ ઇટ. યસ સર. સો in terms of educational institutions like us, what particular skills would you recommend that any education institution should move towards so that we don't unnecessarily get caught up in a fad and that we are actually learning what is relevant, sir? Thank you.
Do you want me to answer this in Gujarati? Because that will make more sense.
Please do, sir.
એટલે આ જે ગાળો છે એ તો રહેવાનો. અને બજારમાં ચેન્જ ઝડપથી આવે કારણ કે એ લોકોને પૈસા કમાવાના હોય અને એ ચેન્જ પ્રમાણે આપણે ભણાવવાનું હોય. એટલે દેર વિલ બી ડેફિનેટલી એ ગેપ. બટ વોટ આઈ ડીડ એટલે અમે એક પ્રયત્ન કર્યો કોલેજમાં, એ કરી શકાય. ધારો કે એક વિદ્યાર્થી છે MIS ભણે છે. MIS એટલે એક પ્રકારનો સબ્જેક્ટ છે, મેનેજમેન્ટ ઇન્ફોર્મેશન સિસ્ટમ, એવું એનું નામ છે. તો વિદ્યાર્થીઓને કહ્યું કે ભાઈ આ ઇન્ફોર્મેશન સિસ્ટમ છે એ ભવિષ્યમાં બેન્કિંગ સેક્ટર, એક ઉદાહરણ તરીકે, એમાં કેવા પ્રકારના ફેરફારો લાવશે અને એ ફેરફારો માટે તમારે કેવા પ્રકારની સ્કિલ જરૂર પડશે એ શોધી લાવો. એટલે એ લોકોએ શું કર્યું, ભવિષ્યમાં શું થઈ શકે બેન્કિંગ સેક્ટરમાં આઈટીના લીધે. એન્ડ વી સી નાવ કે પહેલાં જે લોકો બેંકમાં કામ કરતા હતા એમની જે સ્કિલ હતી એ અત્યારે ઇરરિલેવન્ટ છે. તો દરેક વિષયમાં એક તો બીઓએસના સભ્ય તરીકે મેં જીટીયુમાં પણ કહ્યું કે દર વર્ષે હું વિષયમાં પરિવર્તન ના કરી શકું સિલેબસમાં, બટ એટલીસ્ટ વોટ વી કેન ડુ ઇઝ ઇન every subject we can have certain contemporary topics which should be left to the faculty members. They should identify 5 contemporary topics, and as a part of the syllabus they must incorporate those 5 topics also which are futuristic in nature. So if you do that, at least our students will have some exposure, some idea about the future that might take place. તો આવું કંઈક આપણે દરેક કોલેજમાં કરી શકાય કે એ 5 વિષયો 5 ટોપિક એવા હોવા જોઈએ કે જે ટ્રેડિશનલ જે સિલેબસ છે એ સિવાયના એ ફેકલ્ટીએ પણ મહેનત કરવી પડે એમાં. એને પોતે પહેલાં જોવું પડે કે મારા વિષયમાં શું ફેરફારો થઈ રહ્યા છે, એને પોતે બહુ વાંચવું પડે. ઇફ દે કેન ડૂ દેટ આઈ થિંક વી કેન ડૂ દેટ. પણ જે લેગ છે, ડોન્ટ એક્સપેક્ટ એજ્યુકેશનલ ઇન્સ્ટિટ્યૂટ ટુ create a situation where there is no leg. Leg will going to remain there. And there is one more point. બીજો પ્રશ્ન ના હોય તો આનો જ what I think that we also need to think in terms of the kind of skill that I want to develop through a particular subject. અત્યારે આપણે શું ફોકસ કરીએ છીએ content of the subject, એ તો છે જ, but what kind of skill I need to develop. If I can bring down the thinking process at that level, કે ભાઈ હું શિક્ષક તરીકે આ વિષય ભણાવું છું તો એના મદદથી મારે કઈ સ્કિલ વિદ્યાર્થીઓમાં ડેવલપ કરવાની છે, વેધર દેટ સ્કિલ વિલ બી યુઝફુલ ઇન વુકા વર્લ્ડ ઓર નોટ. તો એ કદાચ મેક્રો લેવલ ઉપર એટલે કે યુનિવર્સિટી લેવલ પર કદાચ થઈ શકે નથી, પણ શિક્ષક તરીકે ક્લાસરૂમમાં હું આ બધા જ પ્રયોગો કરી શકું.
થેન્ક યુ સર, થેન્ક યુ. Sir, this is for Rathod sir. Sir, one thing has become sure under the VUCA world, that economic downturn આજે ગમે દેશને આવે છે અને ગમે ત્યારે આવે છે, right? In the 80s, America and Russia were considered high and mighty, but આજે એ લોકોને બી દોડાદોડીમાં પડી જાય છે in terms of economics. So sir, how about an educational institution, sir? Will they be able to survive by themselves, or they should be ready for disruptions? And if so, what, sir? Please.
I think in education system, out of all the stakeholders, teachers and students are very important. Educators can find hope, clarity, strength. And if you see the VUCA world point of view, be agile. Be agile, we are saying, but are we adaptable? Are we ready to change our mindset? Are we ready to work? Are we ready to learn the new subjects? Every management, they expect something to us. And as far as expectation is concerned, I think our delivery, what we are doing, that should be always, we are ready for the hard work. We are ready for learning the new things. Some institutes are doing excellent, some institutes are not. Why? Let's do the VUCA audit to them. I think every management is always, because I'm coming from the institute, management, where the 4 engineering college is a part of it. And these 4 institutes have a different capabilities, have a different scale. Management is common. So even though some issues are there, those who are doing excel, as I said, the be agile, ready for uncomfort zone, to learn something new. Faculty can do the excel. It means the finally institute can do the excels, and the management can also do the excels. So there is no problem. Thank you.
Sir, one more question for you, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Sir, in the non-VUCA world, could afford to have lots of biases and prejudices. Everybody wanted to work in isolation, and hatred was allowed. And also people were allowed to think highly of themselves. Then all the barriers broke down, sir. And in terms of society, sir, what would be our message to society in order so that they are also ready for the VUCA world? Because ultimately society will send their children to the educational institutions. Thank you.
Sir, it's basically a demand. When I say Dr. Tejash has also given some information on national education policy. Even we are interested or not, we have to go. We are interested to not, for accreditation we are going. Because our students are facing the issue. I can give you one example. I'm not giving a name of institute. But those, the faculties, students are working at the UAE, and their companies have said that if your institute from where you are coming is not accredited, we will not consider you as an employee. You have to return back to your India. See the things. So it's a depend on the demand actually, sir. And nowadays it happens, so people are doing this. So mindset is very important. If somebody is a prejudice within the institutes also, I think we have to give a time, we have to give actually trainings, and that is a resilience training for it. VUCA audit is important, but at the same time training is important. I can give another example of my institute. Like Dr. Tejash and myself, we are having a good tuning. So we have done so many papers together. We have done so many programs together. It's a tuning matter, sir. And somebody find that, no, sir, you are giving more chance to him. Prejudice, biased. I face, that's what I'm saying. What I have done, being a leader of my institute, being a superior or head kind of fellow. So next, means after 2 to 3 years, I have given opportunity to him also. You come to us, you are good in this, you deliver to my student, because I'm handling 4 student chapter, professional societies. 1 is international, 3 is a national. So I have a 400 student volunteers under me. So I said that, sir, your events are important and we are doing this. Now you can say that the mindset and that things are also changed. I think leaders has to play the role to change the mindset and prejudice of any faculties. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Leadership is intentional influence. So they must have the intention. Yes. Thank you, sir. And I would like to request any questions from the audience. Yes, please, somebody could please send mic out there. Yeah. Only some people, sir. Well, most. Yeah. Behind, ma'am. Yeah. Gaurav, sir.
Devanshi, ma'am.
Sir, thank you very much, all the panel members. You appraised us very nicely. The one question came into my mind, that is in the fast developing technology and looking to the COVID and other old diseases, epidemics, in future, either a offline or online education, which will be more beneficial to the students, offline and online. Now, offline is coming, online is coming. In future, which will be more beneficial to the students? That is what my question. If you can just address, I will be thankful to you.
Sir, yes.
This is a perfect question and a perfect opportunity to answer. The best education is in person, 100%. Whether in classroom or under the tree, that's the best education. There is no alternative that a mother can teach a child how to behave well online. There is no alternative. A mother has to teach a child in person how to behave better. So it's the same as education. The teachers have to be mothers or fathers to teach in person, But because businesses will grow online much faster, because every business will have an application of at least IT, information technology, and many of them, particularly the larger corporates and the middle level corporates, and the IT, in IT field even the smaller ones, are going to use artificial intelligence. The robots, for example, the online chatting where the other person is not actually the machine, not the person, is chat bot, like robot. So likewise, all the banks today, like State Bank of India, they use chat bots, and many of them, where there is no person there. So likewise, if we don't teach them online, they don't learn, they cannot make pace with the current world. When they go out, or they want, Jamnagar is a hub of brass business, I am aware. And a lot of brass scrap is imported, processed, and goes to the country, and also exported, in addition to refinery, and many other things. Now, if the children do not learn online business, how to do business, those who are businessmen today will lose business if their children don't learn. So likewise, a kind of a hybrid system is always going to be the best. The hybrid is a win-win situation. Anytime there is a problem, switch over fully online. But if there is no problem, continue offline and teach technology-related, IT technology or artificial intelligence or virtual reality related courses online, because they are better available online. We cannot create them overnight. People who are doing research for 10 years in United States are coming up with those technologies. So matching them is going to take another 10 years, at least 5. So the combination. But the fine line is what should be online and what should be in classroom. That's a fine line. If we understand the fine line, then we can create that blend. And I don't think most of the vice chancellors, pardon me for this statement, most of our vice chancellors are political appointees. They do not have the knowledge of 21st century. They are from 20th centuries. And I have addressed vice chancellors conferences since 2004. And sometimes there were like 50 vice chancellors sitting. In Vietnam, I addressed 200 universities vice chancellors on how education can improve. So I advised their government also. And so this time in Cambodia, when both of us were there, we had meeting with the Accreditation Council of Cambodia, chaired by the Secretary Education, representing Minister of Education. And they need help. And I'm going to help them how to improve quality of education in Cambodia, like I'm doing in Vietnam. So it's like the fine line which is most important to understand. And I will be very happy to work with your trust honorarily as to how you can do better to improve quality of education. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sneha ma'am, next question, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, before some days I was teaching mathematics, Pythagoras theorem. So generally we speak that this is important, so I told students that this is important. So they said, how much important is that? So I said, it is very important, we cannot say it in percentages. Then one student told me that, sir, in cricket we see that these are the percentages of winning and losing. So in my limited knowledge, I explained him that in cricket they consider various factors like what is the pitch, who is the batsman, etc. And on that basis, they decide what is the probability of winning or losing by a particular team. So the student asked me that, can we make a software which will also give, the IMP questions, and they can tell us that this is the probability of the question being asked in the next coming examinations. So the question may look naughty, but the answer may not, because if some software experts make such softwares where they feed some data, and on basis of that, suppose they come to the conclusion that this is the paper which is having 85% probability that this will come in the next coming exams, then in that way students will not be focusing on the basics if such softwares come up. So if something like this happens, how will we deal with it?
Sir, we need to direct our question to a particular panelist.
It is for Rathod, sir.
Okay, sir. Yes.
I think you would be a panelist also.
No, sir. No.
Question, can you repeat this? Because
yes, sir.
I need a effective
Yes.
question.
Sir, my question is about
Percentage.
the seriousness of, what will happen that if some software comes up, which will tell the students that this is the probability of particular question being asked in the next coming examination.
That is your task. Why you are finding in a software? Because
No, sir, I am not finding in a software. Student was asking that, what are the
no, but you said no, it's a software. If software analysis this, then you can give answer to the student, right?
Right.
So that's I'm saying. We are in the era of outcome-based educations. So what I am teaching, I should know what is the outcome of it, first of all. Even the chapter or subject, I should aware about the outcome of that. So like maths, maybe applied mathematics for engineering, you have to at least read the things where the Pythagoras is important, right? No softwares are available, but Google gives you a lot of ideas that where the Pythagoras is useful in higher studies. And as teacher's role is to find the outcomes of subjects, sir. And you have to actually make an interest that students can understand that this is important, sir. So that is my point. OB is very important and we have to follow it. Yeah. Yes, please, sir. Another panelist is also present. I think he can give a better answer because he is from science. Dr. Mahesh Jivani, sir.
Welcome, sir.
અમે લોકો એચપીના પ્રિન્ટર સાથે કામ કરીને એટલે હરક પદુડા થઈ ગયા હોય એટલે આવા આઈ એમ સોરી આઈ એમ કમિંગ ઇન યોર પ્લેગ્રાઉન્ડ પણ આ પ્રશ્ન છે ને ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું છું કારણ કે સરસ મજાનો જવાબ છે એટલે અને વર્ષોથી આની સાથે સંકળાયેલા છીએ. સોફ્ટવેરની વાત જવા દો, આપણી પાસે વર્ષોથી 21 અપેક્ષિત પ્રશ્ન સંપુટ છે જ. સો સોફ્ટવેર બનાવવાની એ લોકો બનાવે જ છે. આ લાઇટર ટોનમાં મેં જવાબ આપ્યો. હવે તમને એક સરસ મજાની વાત કરું. ધ વર્ક વિથ આઈ એમ એસોસિએટેડ સિન્સ લોંગ. આપણે ત્યાં કોમ્પિટિટિવ એક્ઝામ્સની બોડી છે સરસ મજાની. નામ નહીં આપું કારણ કે આઈ હેડ ટેકન ઓથ કે આઈ ડોન્ટ હેવ ટુ ગીવ ધ નેમ. બહુ બધી પરીક્ષાઓ લેવાય છે કોમ્પિટન્સીની. એની અંદરના જે એક્સપર્ટ્સ હોય છે, જે પ્રશ્નપત્રો કાઢે છે, કોન્ફિડેન્શિયલ લેવલનું હોય છે, એ લોકોને સ્પષ્ટ સૂચના આપવામાં આવે છે કે આ બજારમાં જેટલી બુક્સ છે ને એમાંથી એક પણ પ્રશ્ન ન આવવો જોઈએ અને એના જ પૈસા આપવામાં આવે છે. જેટલી બી પરીક્ષાઓ માટેની બજારમાં અવેલેબલ બુક્સ છે ને, કોમ્પિટિટિવ પરીક્ષાના ક્લાસીસની બુક્સ, એનું લિસ્ટ હોય છે એના પ્રશ્નપત્ર કાઢવાવાળા એક્સપર્ટ પાસે, અને એને આપવામાં આવે છે અને એને કહેવામાં આવે છે કે આમાંથી એક પણ પ્રશ્ન ન આવવો જોઈએ. બરાબર છે. મહારાષ્ટ્રની અંદર સાયન્સ ઓલિમ્પિયાડ થાય છે અને ઇન્ડિયામાં ઘણી જગ્યાએ થાય છે. એક પ્રશ્ન પેપર, ઓબ્જેક્ટિવ પ્રશ્ન પેપર કાઢવાના 5,000 આપે છે. 5,000 રૂપીઝ ફોર વન ક્વેશ્ચન, ડ્રોઈંગ વન ક્વેશ્ચન્સ. કન્ડિશન ગૂગલ એનો જવાબ આપી શકે એમ ન હોવો જોઈએ. થેન્ક યુ.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question, please? Yes, and I also request the person asking the question to please alert the panelist to whom you would like to answer.
I have my question for professor from Vietnam. Act locally, think globally is the universal phenomena. Jamnagar is a border district. Vietnam has gone through a war period with US, United States. When I was a kid, when I was a student, I was reading about the way the students had faced and the academicians had promoted their moral duty in the students and their stamina and courage. So can you give Jamnagar, a border district, some clues that how Vietnam had overcome the weaknesses of war period into their strength, which can directly benefit our institute and our city? I am more concerned. People may call me selfish, I don't mind.
So, madam, this is the best question of today. And this will be number one question for 1 year. Number one. There cannot be better question in next 1 year. Because it concerns Jamnagar. It concerns the city, the people here, the children here. Very shortly, Vietnam was a Russian colony earlier. So they were taught Russian language. They did not know much of English. Americans, because they were Russians there, Americans wanted to take over. So they fought 50 years with Vietnam, keeping an American base outside Vietnam. And like Myanmar, for example, which are easy countries to politically influence. 50 years, Vietnam as a small country fought with United States, the #1 country in the world. But Vietnamese did not give budge. They went on fighting. We will never surrender. After 50 years, America got tired and left Vietnam. They said we will make a museum of our war heroes, and there is one in Hanoi where the museum has only skulls. Khopri. Only skulls. I was asked, me and my wife, to visit that museum. We denied. We say we cannot see that. It's very difficult to see the museum of skulls. They say it is our national pride. These many people have sacrificed. So, at a university or education level, as I said, Vietnamese system is compulsory in addition to English or international business. So Vietnamese karate is compulsory. Vietnamese music, they have traditional music of their own. It is compulsory to learn one music instrument or singing, either it, for every student in the university, compulsory. And there are music rooms. So 7:30 to 4 o'clock, college has the music class also. The sports also compulsory, one sport they must learn. So they make life like adventure. One time they must go. Cultural, so many programs they must do. Vietnamese culture. They don't celebrate foreign culture unless foreign students come. And the university I work with has like 78 collaborations. And they want to do it 200 now. Very fast pace. So, but they don't lose culture. So if you keep culture of Jamnagar, culture of Saurashtra is a kind of compulsory teaching. If you don't know Garba, you must learn Garba first. If you don't know a local music, say Tanpuro. Nobody touches Tanpuro now. It is one of the most wonderful instruments, also the simplest to learn. Right? Bhajan Tanpura thi gavaય અને નરસિંહ મહેતા એ કરતા. તો આપણે નરસિંહ મહેતાનું જીવન અને એના ભજન આવું કોલેજમાં શીખવીએ છીએ, સ્કૂલમાં કદાચ શીખવતા હોય, પણ કોલેજ અને સ્કૂલમાં ભજન શીખવતા હોય, તાનપુરો શીખવીએ. સો આપણું કલ્ચર એ જો આપણે શીખવાડીએ અને કમ્પલસરી કરીએ તો જે સ્ટુડન્ટ અહીંયા ભણશે એ ગમે ત્યાં જાય, they will carry the culture, they will forget the books, they will forget knowledge also, because knowledge becomes irrelevant after some time, but they will remember the culture, they will spread the culture. And all good things like healthcare, we are not really very healthy people as Indians, and particularly in Saurashtra, lot of ghee, lot of mithai, lot of things. Okay, in Vietnam they don't eat wheat, so roti hoye જ નહીં, bread ખાય નહીં, pizza ખાય નહીં, બહુ rare. So they have found wonderful vegetables. Of course they eat non-veg, but more people are becoming vegetarian now. એટલે એક ફેમિલીમાં તો હું જમવા ગયો તો મારી પૂજા કરી, આજુબાજુ ડાન્સ કર્યા કે તમે જૈન છો એટલે 7 જનરેશનથી વેજીટેરિયન છો એવું તમને ખબર છે? મેં કીધું હા ખબર છે, નામ પણ આપું ફોરફાધરના. સો ડાન્સ કર્યા. એ કે વી આર સીઈંગ ફર્સ્ટ ટાઈમ દે વેર વેજીટેરિયન ફેમ. એમણે બધા એગ્રીકલ્ચરના જાત જાતના ફૂડ એમના શોધીને એમાંથી એ લોકો જમવાનું બનાવે. એટલે 4-5 ટાઈપની ભાજી હોય જમવામાં ડેઈલી, અને એવા સબ્જી હોય, કઠોળ બહુ ના ખાય. સો every Vietnamese has a single body. They don't put in weight. So they are very efficient. They can run very fast. They walk a lot. સાયકલ રાખે, 2 ગાડી અફોર્ડ કરે, ઘરમાં હોય પણ બહાર સાયકલ લઈને નીકળે. અને સાયકલના ટ્રેક પણ હોય, અથવા ગામડામાં રહેતા હોય પણ મોડર્ન ગામડા હોય. એટલે લાઈફસ્ટાઈલ આપણી આપણે કેળવીએ ને જે ઓરિજિનલ હતી તે, તો આ છોકરાઓ કે દીકરીઓનું ટ્રાન્સફોર્મેશન થાય કે વોટ યુ સી એઝ પીઝા ઇઝ એકચ્યુઅલી નો ગુડ ફોર ઇટિંગ, બટ યુ કેન ઇટ once a month. Let us have a rule, once a month, but not more. એટલે આવા ટ્રાન્સફોર્મેશન એ લોકો વિયેટનામવાળા છોડતા નથી, પછી નવું એડોપ્ટ કરે. હમણાં મને મેન્ડેટ આવી રહી છે એક યુનિવર્સિટી યુનાઇટેડ સ્ટેટ્સમાં પરચેઝ કરવાની, કે બીકોઝ યુ આર ગ્લોબલી કનેક્ટેડ, કેન યુ હેલ્પ અસ બાય એ યુનિવર્સિટી ઇન US? વી વોન્ટ ટુ ઇન્વેસ્ટ. ફોર હુમ? ફોર એશિયન સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ. એમાં વિયેટનામી વધારે હશે કારણ કે એમના કન્ટ્રીના ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ હોય તો, એન્ડ દે આર સિકિંગ ધેર ગવર્મેન્ટ પરમિશન કે અમે યુનિવર્સિટી બાય કરીએ તો પછી કે કઈ રૂલ લાગુ પડે છે. હમણાં એ પ્રોસેસ ચાલે. સો થિંકિંગ ઇઝ સો એડવાન્સ. મની ઇઝ એવરીવેર. આપણે ત્યાં બી પૈસાની કોઈ કમી જ નથી, પણ એવું વિઝન કે અહીંયા તો કર્યું, હવે આપણે એવા કન્ટ્રીમાં કરીએ જ્યાં આપણા જ લોકોના બાળકો છે. બાપ્સમાં ફક્ત ને ફક્ત બોયઝ સ્કૂલ જ છે, ગર્લ્સ સ્કૂલ નથી. એ રૂલ છે કે ગર્લ્સને નહીં, બોયઝ જ. અને છતાં હ્યુસ્ટનમાં એક કો એજ્યુકેશનની 1 થી 4 ધોરણની સ્કૂલ ખોલી રહ્યા છે. આઈ વિઝિટેડ દેટ સમ ટાઈમ બેક. ઇટ ઇઝ અબાઉટ ટુ ઓપન. હવે આ વખતે ઓપન થઈ ગઈ હશે. અત્યારે મેં જૂનમાં વિઝિટ કરી હતી. એટલે કલ્ચર છે ત્યાં, એમના કલ્ચરનું એ બધું કરશે અને અમેરિકન કલ્ચરનું બી કરશે. એટલે વેન વી સ્ટીક ટુ અવર રૂટ્સ એન્ડ એડોપ્ટ અધર કલ્ચર, ઇટ વિલ વર્ક. પણ છોકરાઓ દીકરીઓને થોડું ઓલ્ટરનેટિવ એંગેજ રાખવા પડે. ફ્રી રાખીએ તો ઇટ ઇઝ આઇડલ માઇન્ડ્સ ઇઝ અ ડેવિલ્સ વર્કશોપ. એને ફ્રી નહીં રાખવાના. એટલી બધી એક્ટિવિટી કરાવવાની સ્કૂલ કોલેજમાં કે રાત પડે 9 વાગે ઊંઘ આવે છે, એને રાત્રે જાગીને મોબાઈલ જોવાનું યાદ ના આવવું જોઈએ, એટલું દોડાવીએ એમને દિવસના. ધેટ ઇઝ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ. માઇક. I finished.
Yes. In 1970, when I was at CN Vidyalaya, અમદાવાદમાં CN વિદ્યાલય કરીને સ્કૂલ છે. અચ્છા, રાઈટ. એમાં જ્યારે હું ભણતી હતી ત્યારે અમારે ત્યાં પણ આવી જ રીતે એક સબ્જેક્ટ લેવાનો, આઈધર મ્યુઝિક ઓર વોકલ, અરે ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ અથવા વોકલ. અને ત્યારે મારો દિલરુબા સબ્જેક્ટ હતો. આજે કેટલાને દિલરુબાનું નામ પણ નહીં ખબર હોય, વગાડવાની વાત તો એક બાજુ રહી. અને એ જે જ્યારે જે એજ્યુકેશન મળેલું છે એ સ્કૂલમાં, એને લીધે જ તો આગળ જે બેઝ છે એ થાય છે. થેન્ક યુ.
અહીંયા ઇન્ડિયન મ્યુઝિકમાંથી એક ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ શીખવાનું, 10 ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ લઈ લો અને 10 ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટ પર 10 વિદ્યાર્થીઓ ભણે એક સ્કૂલમાં, 1 કલાક ભણે, અને એવા તમે 10 ક્લાસીસ રાખો તો 100 વિદ્યાર્થી દિવસમાં એ ભણી લે. 1000 વિદ્યાર્થી સ્કૂલમાં હોય તો એને ઓલ્ટરનેટિવ ક્લાસીસ રાખો, સેટરડેના બી ક્લાસીસ રાખો, તો એમ કરીને 20 ઇન્સ્ટ્રુમેન્ટથી, અને બધા અલગ અલગ હોય, એટલે જેને જે શીખવું હોય પણ એક શીખવાનું કમ્પલસરી. અને આપણા ભજનો છે કે દોહા છે કે જે વસ્તુ પર વડોદરા આખું નાચે છે એ સૌરાષ્ટ્રના દોહા ઉપર નવરાત્રિમાં નાચે છે, અને એક ગામ જેવડા ગરબા થાય છે, પણ દોહા તો સૌરાષ્ટ્રના જ છે. અહીંયાના છોકરાઓને આપણે શીખવાડીએ છીએ. એટલે સક્સેસ માટે મંત્ર બહુ ઇઝી છે, અર્લી ટુ બેડ અર્લી ટુ રાઇઝ, પણ સિસ્ટમથી કરવું પડે, કહેવાથી નહીં થાય. આ સ્કૂલ આટલી વહેલી જ ચાલુ થશે, આ કોલેજ આટલી વહેલી જ ચાલુ થશે, અને ભલે 10% ઘટી જાય, બીજા 20% આવશે. આ બેનિફિટ જ્યારે દેખાશે કે આ છોકરાઓ કેવા બ્રિલિયન્ટ થયા, અને યુ કેન ક્રિએટ. અને પછી તમે પોર્ટ, તમારું આપણે પોર્ટ સિટી છે જામનગર, તો પોર્ટ આખું વિયેટનામ પોર્ટ કન્ટ્રી છે. એમને એક સાઈડ આખો દરિયો છે ને એક સાઈડ નદી છે. પાણી કોઈ બી જગ્યાએ વોક ઇન કરો તમને નદી આવે કે દરિયો આવે. તો એ પોર્ટ એમનો બિઝનેસ પોર્ટ ઉપર છે. ટ્રિમેન્ડસ બિઝનેસ વિથ ચાઇના. વાય ઇટ કેન નોટ બી વિથ જામનગર. પણ એટલે ચેમ્બર ઓફ કોમર્સ જામનગરની વર્ક કરે એના પર, એટલે કલેક્ટિવ વર્ક કરવાની જરૂર. આપણે સેપરેટલી વાત કરીશું.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for talking about music. I could see Dr. Arpan Bhatt smiling away. Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank all the panelists for a wonderful session. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Audience, a huge round of applause for all the mind ticklers out here, because you know the stream of question had to flow for long, but since we are running short of time, but truly this was a thought-provoking session, and we have really got some very good insights, and I think the entire teaching fraternity will surely use it to give our best to the upcoming generations. Thank you for giving your time and talent. I would please like you to request to take seat. No, some more time, please, sir. Our pleasure, but may I please take this opportunity to invite Dr. Rajesh Khajuria, Professor, FPT University, Vietnam. May I request Shri Bhartesh Bhai Shah, sir, to please come and honor by presenting a token of love and appreciation to
our panelist, Dr. Rajesh Khajuria, sir, Professor, FPT University, Vietnam.
So we are highly grateful to you for sharing your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. It's indeed an honor to have you with us for this session, and looking forward to such more sessions in the future to come. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Snehal Kotak Palan, ma'am, Campus Director, Oshwal Education Trust, to present the token of love and appreciation to Dr. Jagdishkumar Rathod, sir.
Professor, Department of Electronics, Birla Visvakarma Mahavidyalaya.
Thank you, sir. You have mesmerized us all by the length and breadth of your experience. It was great having with you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Ajay Shah, sir, Director, JVMS MBA MCA, to please present a token of love and appreciation
to Dr. Tejas Pujara, Professor, Tolani Motwane Institute of Management Studies.
Sir, thank you so much. Your words have really left us and has earmarked, and we will definitely use these insights into our classrooms out there. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for making it to OET Milestone 2022.